Every growing season, countless gardeners make the same heartbreaking mistake. They spot drooping leaves, yellowing stems, weak flowers, or a tomato plant that suddenly seems to stop growing, and they assume the plant is beyond saving. Out it comes from the garden bed, into the compost pile, and another healthy harvest is lost before the plant ever had a chance to recover. But here's what many experienced gardeners have discovered after years of growing vegetables. A struggling plant is often sending out a distress signal, not a farewell message. In many cases, the problem isn't disease, old age, or bad luck. It's simply a nutrient shortage that can be corrected with the right feeding. Even better, some of the most effective liquid fertilizers don't come from expensive garden centers. They come straight from ingredients that are already sitting in your kitchen. Welcome back to Savage, Harvest, and Heal, where we uncover practical, research-backed gardening methods that help you grow healthier plants, bigger harvests, and stronger gardens without spending a fortune. Today, we're revealing 5 natural liquid fertilizers that can breathe new life into tired vegetables, encourage vigorous growth, and help your garden bounce back naturally. These homemade feeds are inexpensive, easy to prepare, and packed with nutrients that plants can absorb quickly. But remember, no fertilizer can revive a plant that has completely died from severe disease or irreversible root damage. What these natural solutions can do is help nutrient-starved, stressed, or weakened plants recover before it's too late. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which fertilizer to use, when to use it, and why it works so well. Many gardeners are surprised to learn that plants don't always need more fertilizer. They need the right fertilizer. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, zucchini, beans, and many other vegetables each rely on a balance of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and trace minerals. When just one of these nutrients becomes unavailable, the entire plant begins to suffer. Leaves lose their deep green color, flowers fall off, fruits become small, stems weaken, and growth slows dramatically. Before reaching for expensive synthetic products, it's worth understanding how nature has already provided simple solutions using everyday kitchen waste. These homemade liquid fertilizers work because water extracts valuable nutrients, making them easier for roots to absorb than many dry materials sprinkled on the soil. Walk through almost any neighborhood in the middle of summer, and you'll see it happening. A once beautiful tomato plant suddenly begins to wilt. Pepper leaves curl and lose their shine. Cucumbers stop producing. Zucchini leaves turn pale overnight. The first instinct is almost always the same. Water more, buy a stronger fertilizer, or pull the plant out and replace it. Yet experienced gardeners know something that beginners often don't. Plants rarely collapse without warning. They leave clues. Every yellow leaf, every weak stem, every blossom that drops before forming fruit is the plant's way of saying, "I'm missing something." The tragedy is that these signals are often misunderstood until the damage becomes severe. But if you recognize those signs early and respond with the right nutrients, many plants can stage an astonishing recovery that seems almost miraculous. Nature has designed plants with an incredible ability to heal. Even after weeks of stress, roots continue searching for moisture and nutrients. Hidden buds remain ready to produce fresh leaves. Tiny feeder roots are constantly growing beneath the soil, waiting for the nutrients that fuel new life. Once those nutrients become available, many vegetables respond with surprising speed. New green leaves emerge where yellow ones once dominated. Flower production increases. Fruits begin developing again. Growth that seemed permanently stalled suddenly resumes. This isn't magic, and it isn't luck. It's simply giving the plant exactly what it has been desperately searching for. The biggest mistake gardeners make isn't failing to fertilize. It's feeding the wrong nutrient at the wrong time. A tomato suffering from calcium deficiency won't magically recover with extra nitrogen. A pepper lacking potassium won't produce healthy fruit just because more compost was added. Every nutrient has a specific purpose inside the plant. Nitrogen builds lush green growth. Phosphorus strengthens roots and supports flowering. Potassium improves fruit quality, disease resistance, and water regulation. Calcium keeps cell walls strong and helps prevent disorders like blossom end rot. Magnesium powers chlorophyll production, allowing leaves to capture sunlight efficiently. When one essential element runs low, the entire system begins to slow down, no matter how healthy the soil appears from the surface. Commercial fertilizers certainly have their place, but many gardeners overlook an important fact. Plants don't care whether nutrients come from an expensive bottle or from carefully prepared natural ingredients. What matters is whether those nutrients are available in a form the roots can absorb. That's exactly why liquid fertilizers are so effective. Instead of waiting weeks for dry materials to decompose, liquid nutrients dissolved in water move quickly into the root zone, where plants can begin using them almost immediately. While they won't transform a struggling plant overnight, they often provide the boost needed to restart healthy growth within days. Before we reveal the first natural liquid fertilizer, here's one important rule that can save your entire garden. Never feed a plant that is suffering from severe drought. Dry roots can be damaged by concentrated nutrients, even natural ones. Always water the soil first until it's evenly moist. Then apply your homemade liquid fertilizer a few hours later or the following day. Moist roots absorb nutrients far more efficiently and experience much less stress. This simple step is often the difference between helping a plant recover and accidentally making the problem worse. Now, let's begin with one of the most effective natural fertilizers hiding in almost every kitchen: banana peel fertilizer. Most people toss banana peels straight into the trash without realizing they're throwing away one of the richest natural sources of potassium available for home gardening. Potassium is essential for flowering, fruit development, water regulation, and overall plant resilience. When tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, squash, or beans begin flowering, their demand for potassium rises dramatically. If they don't receive enough, blossoms may fall off, fruits stay small, and plants become more vulnerable to heat stress and disease. Making banana peel liquid fertilizer couldn't be simpler. Chop 2 or 3 fresh banana peels into small pieces and place them in a clean jar or bucket. Add about 1 liter of water and let the mixture steep for 24 to 48 hours. During this time, valuable minerals slowly dissolve into the water. Strain the liquid before using it around the base of your plants. For even better results, bury the softened banana peels in your compost pile or directly beneath mulch after straining so none of those remaining nutrients go to waste. Don't expect dramatic changes after one application. Gardening rewards consistency, not shortcuts. Feed flowering vegetables with banana peel fertilizer once every 7 to 10 days during active growth. Over time, you'll often notice stronger stems, healthier blossoms, improved fruit formation, and plants that cope much better with hot, dry weather. Combined with regular watering and healthy soil, this simple homemade fertilizer becomes a powerful tool for producing bigger harvests without spending extra money. And here's something many gardeners never realize. The healthiest gardens aren't built by using dozens of different products. They're built by understanding what the plant is asking for at each stage of its life. Once you learn to read those signals, your garden stops feeling unpredictable. Instead of reacting after problems appear, you'll know exactly how to help your plants stay productive from the first seedling to the final harvest. The next fertilizer on our list provides one of the most important nutrients for leafy growth, and it's made from an ingredient many families throw away every single day. The second natural liquid fertilizer is made from something that ends up in millions of trash bins every single morning: used coffee grounds. Most people think coffee grounds are simply waste, but they're actually packed with organic matter and contain small amounts of nitrogen, magnesium, potassium, and other trace minerals that support vigorous leafy growth. Nitrogen is the nutrient plants rely on to produce lush green leaves and healthy stems. Without enough nitrogen, vegetables become pale, growth slows dramatically, and older leaves begin turning yellow because the plant starts moving nutrients from older foliage to support new growth. It's a survival strategy, but it's also a clear warning that your garden needs attention. Coffee ground tea is especially useful during the early stages of growth, when plants are focused on building strong stems and a dense canopy of leaves. Healthy foliage isn't just about appearance. Those leaves are the plant's solar panels, capturing sunlight and converting it into the energy needed for flowering and fruit production later in the season. Weak leaves mean weak harvests. Strong leaves mean stronger roots, better flowers, and ultimately baskets filled with healthier vegetables. To prepare this simple fertilizer, add about 1 cup of used coffee grounds to 4 or 5 liters of water. Stir the mixture thoroughly and allow it to steep for at least 24 hours. As the water sits, nutrients slowly dissolve into the liquid, creating a gentle fertilizer that can be applied around the base of plants. Strain the liquid before using it, especially if you're watering with a can that has a fine rose attachment. Apply the fertilizer every 2 to 3 weeks to leafy vegetables such as spinach, kale, lettuce, Swiss chard, and cabbage, or to young tomato and pepper plants before heavy flowering begins. However, more isn't always better. Coffee grounds should never be used excessively. Too much nitrogen late in the growing season can encourage plants to keep producing leaves instead of flowers and fruit. That's why experienced gardeners adjust their feeding schedule as plants mature. Early growth requires more nitrogen. Once flowering begins, potassium and phosphorus become much more important. Understanding this simple shift separates productive gardens from disappointing ones. Another important tip is to observe your plants after every feeding. Healthy new growth should appear deep green and vigorous. If leaves continue yellowing despite proper feeding, the issue may not be nutrition at all. Compacted soil, poor drainage, root diseases, or inconsistent watering can all prevent plants from absorbing nutrients no matter how rich the fertilizer is. That's why successful gardening is never about one miracle solution. It's about combining healthy soil, proper watering, good sunlight, and balanced nutrition. Now let's move to one of the most underrated homemade fertilizers of all, and one that many gardeners have been using for generations. Rice water is often poured straight down the sink after cooking. Yet, this cloudy liquid contains starches, small amounts of B vitamins, and trace minerals that help nourish beneficial soil microorganisms. Those microbes are the unseen workforce beneath every successful garden. They break down organic matter, release nutrients trapped in the soil, and create an environment where roots can thrive. The best rice water to use is plain, unsalted water left over from rinsing or boiling rice. Never use rice water that contains salt, butter, or seasonings, as these can damage plants. Allow the water to cool completely before applying it around the root zone. Used once every week or two, it can help support healthy soil biology and provide a gentle nutritional boost, especially for container-grown vegetables where nutrients are depleted more quickly. Don't expect rice water to replace a complete fertilizer. Think of it as a soil tonic rather than a full meal. Its greatest strength lies in supporting the living ecosystem beneath your plants. Healthy soil isn't just dirt, it's alive with bacteria, fungi, earthworms, and countless microscopic organisms that work together to make nutrients available. Feed the soil life, and the soil life feeds your plants. That's one of the oldest secrets behind productive gardens that continue improving year after year. This brings us to an important lesson that every gardener should remember. The goal isn't simply to grow bigger plants. The goal is to grow healthier plants that can resist pests, recover from heat stress, withstand dry periods, and produce abundant harvests over a long season. Strong nutrition builds resilience, and resilience is what transforms an ordinary garden into an exceptional one. In the next section, we'll reveal 2 more powerful homemade liquid fertilizers, including one that delivers a remarkable calcium boost for tomatoes, peppers, and squash, helping prevent one of the most frustrating problems gardeners face. Now it's time for one of the most valuable homemade fertilizers for fruiting vegetables, especially tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, and zucchini. If you've ever walked into your garden only to discover beautiful tomatoes developing black, sunken spots on the bottom, you've witnessed one of the most frustrating problems in vegetable gardening: blossom and rot. Many gardeners assume it's caused by a disease or insect attack, but in reality, it's most often linked to a calcium deficiency or inconsistent watering that prevents the plant from absorbing available calcium. The good news is that kitchen scraps can play a role in restoring this essential nutrient. Eggshells are made up primarily of calcium carbonate, making them an excellent natural source of calcium when prepared correctly. Instead of throwing them away after breakfast, rinse the shells thoroughly to remove any remaining egg residue, then allow them to dry completely. Once dry, crush them into a fine powder using a blender, coffee grinder, or mortar and pestle. The finer the powder, the faster the calcium becomes available to the soil. To create an eggshell liquid fertilizer, place the finely ground shells from 6 to 8 eggs into a saucepan with about 2 liters of water. Bring the mixture to a gentle boil for a few minutes, then remove it from the heat and allow it to steep overnight. During this time, a small amount of calcium is released into the water. Strain the liquid and use it around the base of tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, squash, and cucumbers every 2 to 3 weeks. While this homemade solution won't instantly correct a severe calcium deficiency, it can become part of a consistent feeding routine that supports healthier fruit development over time. It's important to understand one critical fact that many online gardening videos fail to mention. Calcium problems are not always caused by a lack of calcium in the soil. Very often, the soil already contains enough calcium, but the plant cannot transport it because watering has been inconsistent. A tomato plant that swings between extremely dry soil and soaking wet soil struggles to move calcium into developing fruits. That's why maintaining even soil moisture is just as important as supplying nutrients. Mulching around your plants with straw, shredded leaves, or untreated grass clippings helps keep moisture levels steady while reducing evaporation during hot weather. Another benefit of calcium is stronger cell walls throughout the plant. Healthy cell walls make stems sturdier, leaves tougher, and fruits less prone to splitting. Over time, this means vegetables that not only grow larger, but also store better after harvest. Healthy plants invest less energy repairing damaged tissue and more energy producing flowers and filling fruits with flavor. Now let's uncover perhaps the most overlooked liquid fertilizer on this entire list, a fertilizer that gardeners have quietly relied on for generations because it feeds both the plant and the living soil beneath it. Compost tea isn't flashy, it isn't expensive, and it certainly isn't new. But when prepared correctly, it can become one of the most valuable tools in your entire gardening routine. Good compost contains an incredible diversity of nutrients along with billions of beneficial microorganisms. These microscopic organisms help break down organic matter, unlock nutrients trapped in the soil, and compete with harmful microbes that may attack plant roots. By soaking finished compost in water, you create a nutrient-rich liquid that delivers both minerals and beneficial biology directly into the root zone. To make a simple compost tea, fill a bucket with clean, non-chlorinated water and place 1 shovel of finished compost into a cloth bag, an old pillowcase, or a fine mesh sack. Suspend the bag in the water and let it steep for 24 to 48 hours, stirring occasionally. The water gradually turns a rich brown color as nutrients and beneficial organisms move into the liquid. Remove the compost bag and apply the finished tea immediately around your vegetables. Fresh compost tea is most effective because the living microorganisms remain active. Vegetables fed regularly with compost tea often develop deeper green leaves, stronger root systems, and improved resilience against environmental stress. More importantly, compost tea helps build healthy soil over time, instead of simply feeding the plant for a few days. Every application strengthens the underground ecosystem that supports your garden season after season. One kitchen ingredient that is often overlooked but deserves a place in every gardener's routine is the humble onion skin. Most people throw onion skins straight into the trash without realizing they contain valuable minerals such as potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and small amounts of phosphorus. Onion peels also contain natural antioxidant compounds that can support overall plant health and encourage beneficial microbial activity in the soil. While onion peel fertilizer is not a complete replacement for balanced nutrition, it provides an excellent supplemental feed that helps vegetables stay vigorous during periods of rapid growth and fruit production. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, beans, squash, and leafy greens can all benefit from the nutrients released by onion peels when prepared correctly. Preparing onion peel liquid fertilizer is both simple and inexpensive. Collect the dry outer skins of 4 to 6 onions and place them into a clean bucket or large glass jar. Pour about 2 liters of clean water over the peels and allow the mixture to soak for 24 to 48 hours in a cool, shaded location. During this time, beneficial minerals slowly seep into the water, creating a mild nutrient solution that plants can absorb more easily than dry organic matter. Once the soaking period is complete, strain out the peels and pour the liquid into a watering can. Apply the fertilizer directly around the base of your plants rather than onto the leaves, giving the roots the opportunity to absorb the nutrients efficiently. Using this homemade fertilizer every 2 to 3 weeks can help maintain healthy growth throughout the growing season. One of the greatest advantages of onion peel fertilizer is its high potassium content. Potassium plays a critical role in flower development, fruit formation, water regulation, and overall plant strength. During hot summer weather, vegetables lose moisture rapidly through their leaves. Adequate potassium helps plants regulate this water loss more effectively, making them more resilient during periods of heat stress. Gardeners often notice that well-fed plants maintain firmer stems, healthier foliage, and produce fruits with better size, color, and flavor. When combined with consistent watering and healthy soil, onion peel fertilizer becomes another valuable tool for building a productive, naturally nourished garden without relying entirely on commercial products. But here's a mistake you should avoid. Never assume that adding more fertilizer will automatically produce better results. Overfeeding, even with natural fertilizers, can upset the balance of nutrients in the soil. Too much nitrogen creates beautiful leaves, but fewer tomatoes. Too much potassium may interfere with magnesium uptake. Excess nutrients can even stress plant roots. The healthiest gardens are built on moderation, observation, and consistency rather than constant feeding. Experienced gardeners spend as much time watching their plants as they do watering them. They notice when leaves lose their color, when flowers suddenly begin dropping, when new growth slows unexpectedly, or when new leaves emerge smaller than normal. These subtle changes are valuable clues. The sooner you recognize them, the easier they are to correct. A garden is constantly communicating. You simply need to learn its language. Perhaps the greatest lesson of all is that successful gardening isn't about finding one miracle fertilizer. It's about creating an environment where plants can thrive naturally. Rich soil, steady moisture, plenty of sunlight, healthy microbial life, and balanced nutrition all work together. Remove one of those pieces and the whole system begins to struggle. Put them together consistently, and even plants that look like they were on the verge of failure can surprise you with vigorous new growth and abundant harvests. Before you give up on that yellowing tomato, that struggling pepper, or that tired cucumber vine, give it one more chance. Feed it wisely, water it consistently, and let nature do what it does best. You may be amazed at how quickly a stressed plant can recover when its most important needs are finally met. If you found today's guide helpful, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Savage Harvest and Heal, and turn on notifications so you never miss practical gardening tips designed to help you grow healthier plants naturally. Share your experiences in the comments below. Which homemade fertilizer has worked best in your garden, and what vegetables are you growing this season? Your ideas may help another gardener rescue a struggling plant and enjoy a harvest they thought was already lost. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep healing your garden naturally.